They say the quietest people have the loudest minds. They say the weakest among us often carry the greatest strength. But what happens when that strength finally breaks free? What happens when the silent finally roar? This is the story of Ethan Reed. For 3 years, he endured hell. For 3 years, he counted every insult, every push, every moment of humiliation. But today everything changes. Maplewood High School, Connecticut. Population 2,847 students. Among them, one boy who might as well not exist at all. Meet Ethan Reed. 16 years old, 5'6", 120 pounds soaking wet. To most students, he's invisible. To others, he's target practice. Every morning, Ethan wakes up at 5:30 a.m. Not because he's an early riser, but because he's learned that arriving before most students means fewer opportunities for encounters. He's mapped out every hallway, every blind spot, every bathroom that's usually empty during specific periods. What his tormentors don't know is that Ethan Reed is brilliant. Gifted IQ of 165. Photographic memory. And an obsession with understanding human behavior that borders on the scientific. You see, when you pray for 3 years, you learn to study your predators. Ethan sits alone in advanced physics class. Mrs. Henderson asks if anyone can solve the quantum mechanics problem on the board. Other students look confused while Ethan quietly solves it in his notebook. Ethan knows the answer. He always knows the answer. But he learned long ago that standing out intellectually only makes you a bigger target. So he stays silent. Invisible. Safe. The bell rings and students rush out. Ethan waits until the classroom is nearly empty. But today feels different. Today, there's an electricity in the air. The kind that comes before a storm. As Ethan walks down the hallway, 3 imposing figures approach from ahead. Here they come. The holy trinity of Maplewood High's hierarchy. Derek Matthews, quarterback, trust fund baby, and certified sociopath. His lieutenant, Brad Wilson, all muscle, no brain, but absolutely loyal. And the queen bee herself, Jessica Hartwell, beautiful, popular, and cruel enough to make grown men weep. Derek speaks loudly, for everyone to hear. Well, look what crawled out of whatever hole it lives in. Hey Reed, still breathing? That's unfortunate. Other students stop to watch, some already pulling out phones. Ethan responds quietly, not making eye contact. I'm just trying to get to class, Derek. Derek steps closer, using his height advantage to intimidate. Did I give you permission to speak, ghost boy? Did I? This is where Ethan usually just takes it. Walks away. Disappears. But watch his hands. They're trembling, but not from fear. From rage. Derek continues his verbal assault. You know what your problem is, Reed? You exist in my space. You breathe my air. You make this school uglier just by being here. Brad laughs along. Yeah, it's like having a walking depression advertisement. Jessica adds with fake sympathy. Honestly, have you considered not being here anymore? Like, permanently? I think everyone would be happier. The crowd of students laugh, some uncomfortably, others cruelly. And there it is. The suggestion that Ethan has heard whispered about him for months. The not-so-subtle hint that maybe he should just disappear forever. But something snaps in Ethan's mind. A tiny crack in the dam that's been holding back 3 years of accumulated rage. For the first time, Ethan looks up, making eye contact with Derek. You know what, Derek? You're right. Someone should disappear from this school. We just disagree on who. Derek's expression changes from confusion to anger. What the hell did you just say to me? And just like that, Ethan realizes he's crossed a line he can never uncross. The words are out there. The gauntlet thrown down. There's no going back to invisible now. Derek shoves Ethan hard against the lockers, books scatter everywhere. You want to play tough guy, Reed? Fine. Let's play. Derek pulls out his phone and starts recording. This is going straight to Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, everywhere. Ethan Reed, the school's biggest joke, tries to act tough. This is going to be beautiful. But as Ethan picks up his scattered books, as the crowd films his humiliation, something is calculating behind his eyes. 3 years of studying his tormentors, 3 years of silent observation, 3 years of data collection, it's all leading to this moment. Ethan stands and looks directly into Derek's camera with unsettling calm. Make sure you get my good side, Derek. This footage is going to be very important someday. Derek lowers his phone, genuinely confused by this response. And with that cryptic statement, Ethan Reed walks away. But he's not the same boy who walked into that hallway 5 minutes ago. The transformation has begun. If high school hallways are the hunting grounds, then the cafeteria is the Roman Colosseum. Every table represents a different caste. The athletes, the theater kids, the honor students, the rebels, and then there's Table 23. Table 23. Ethan's table. Also known as Social Siberia. He's been sitting here alone for 3 years, eating the same peanut butter sandwich his mother packs him every day. But today, even his appetite has abandoned him. You see, what happened in the hallway has changed something fundamental. For 3 years, Ethan has been completely reactive, responding to what others do to him. But for the first time, he acted first. He spoke back. And now, his brilliant mind is racing through every possible consequence. Ethan thinks to himself. Probability of Derek retaliating within 24 hours, 97.3%. Probability of escalation beyond verbal abuse, 78.6%. Probability that I've just made the biggest mistake of my life, unknown. But for the first time in 3 years, I don't care about the odds. Speaking of odds, here comes Jessica Hartwell and her disciples. Megan Torres, Daddy's a senator, morals of a shark. Ashley Chen, perfect grades, perfect family, perfectly ruthless. And bringing up the rear, Sarah Kim, the documenter, always ready with a camera to capture someone else's misery. Jessica approaches with false sweetness. Ethan. Hi. We just wanted to come over and chat. The girls arrange themselves around his table like a tribunal. Ethan responds warily. What do you want, Jessica? Jessica continues with her psychological warfare. Want? Oh, we don't want anything. We just heard about your little outburst this morning. Very interesting character development. Megan chimes in. Yeah, we're just wondering if you're having some kind of breakdown. Because honestly, talking back to Derek? That's not very you. This is psychological warfare, and Jessica is a master. She's not here to physically intimidate like Derek. She's here to get inside Ethan's head, to make him doubt himself, to push him back into his shell. Ashley pulls out her phone. We're just concerned about your mental health. Maybe we should call the guidance counselor? Ethan responds simply. I'm fine. Thanks for your concern. Jessica leans in closer. Are you though? Because you look stressed. And that little performance this morning, people are talking. They're saying maybe you're becoming unstable. Sarah discreetly films with her phone under the table. Classic gaslighting technique. Make the victim question their own sanity, their own perceptions. It's worked on Ethan before. But something has changed. The boy who spoke back to Derek is still there, just beneath the surface. Ethan looks directly at Jessica. You know what's interesting, Jessica? I've been watching you for 3 years. Studying you. And I've noticed something fascinating about your behavior patterns. Jessica is taken aback. Excuse me? Ethan gains confidence. You're a textbook case of compensatory aggression. Your cruelty toward others is directly proportional to your own insecurities. It's actually quite predictable once you understand the psychology. Jessica's perfect composure starts to crack. Megan asks confused. What the hell is he talking about? Ethan continues building momentum. For instance, Jessica, you target people you perceive as weak because deep down, you know you're not as smart as you pretend to be. Your grades are good, but not exceptional. You're pretty, but not stunning. You're popular, but only through manipulation and fear. You're mediocre. And you know it. The other girls look between Jessica and Ethan, sensing the power dynamic shifting. This is dangerous territory. Ethan has just psychologically dissected the queen bee of Maplewood High in front of her own subjects. This is either brilliant or suicidal. Jessica's voice shakes with rage. How dare you? But Ethan interrupts, his voice growing stronger. And Megan, your daddy's political connections won't help you when you realize you have no actual personality beneath your daddy issues. Ashley, your perfectionism is just anxiety dressed up as achievement. And Sarah stops her recording, looking fearful. Sarah, you document everyone else's pain because you have no interesting story of your own to tell. The cafeteria has started to quiet down, other students sensing drama. What Ethan is doing right now is unprecedented. He's using 3 years of silent observation, 3 years of psychological study, to completely dismantle his tormentors. It's brilliant. It's savage. And it's about to backfire spectacularly. Jessica stands up, her voice loud enough for surrounding tables to hear. You know what, you pathetic little freak? I was trying to be nice to you. But you want to play psychology games? Fine. Jessica picks up Ethan's water bottle. Let's give you something to really analyze. She pours the entire bottle over Ethan's head and laptop bag. Everyone, look. This is what happens when you try to act tough when you're nothing but a pathetic loser. Students laugh, phones come out to record, Ethan sits soaked and humiliated. And just like that, Ethan's moment of psychological victory turns into social crucifixion. But watch his face. He's not crying. He's not running away. He's calculating. Ethan stands up slowly, water still dripping. Thank you, Jessica. Jessica asks confused. What? Ethan responds calmly. You just prove my point about compensatory aggression. When confronted with truth about yourself, you immediately resorted to physical humiliation tactics. Textbook insecurity response. Ethan gathers his wet belongings, speaking louder so more people can hear. And now everyone here just witnessed Jessica Hartwell assault another student because she couldn't handle having her psychology analyzed. Very enlightening data point. Some students look uncertain now, the laughter dying down. Ethan is doing something extraordinary. Instead of being defeated by the humiliation, he's reframing it, turning his victimization into a scientific observation. It's confusing his tormentors and starting to shift the narrative. Jessica desperately tries to regain control. He's crazy. Can't you all see he's having some kind of breakdown? Ethan responds with unsettling calm. The only breakdown here is your facade, Jessica. 3 years you've terrorized people because you thought they wouldn't fight back. But what happens when your victims start to understand you better than you understand yourself? Ethan walks away, leaving Jessica speechless and the cafeteria buzzing with confused energy. As Ethan leaves the cafeteria, something fundamental has shifted. The victim has become the analyst. The prey has become the predator. But the most dangerous game is yet to come. The boys' bathroom on the second floor, East Wing. Usually empty during fifth period. Ethan discovered this sanctuary 2 years ago when he needed a place to hide during lunch. Today, it's about to become a battlefield. Ethan stands at the sink, trying to dry his hair and clothes with paper towels. He speaks to his reflection. What have you done? What have you done, you idiot? For the first time since this morning, Ethan is second-guessing himself. The adrenaline is wearing off, and the reality of his situation is sinking in. He's just psychologically analyzed the most popular girl in school in front of half the cafeteria. The retaliation is going to be swift and brutal. Ethan's hands shake as he tries to salvage his laptop from his wet bag. His internal monologue runs wild. Laptop's probably fried. 3 years of research, gone. Photos for evidence, gone. My entire digital life, destroyed by one bottle of water. Maybe Jessica's right. Maybe I am having a breakdown. But as Ethan examines his laptop, he realizes something. The water-resistant case he bought with his birthday money last year has worked. The laptop boots up perfectly. His files are intact. His research is safe. 3 years of data. Behavioral patterns, social dynamics, recorded conversations, photographic evidence of every instance of bullying he's witnessed or experienced. Ethan Reed hasn't just been a victim. He's been a researcher. And his thesis is about to be defended. The bathroom door opens. Derek enters with Brad and 2 other football players. Derek speaks with angry purpose. There he is. The little psychology professor. Derek Matthews and his crew. This isn't a coincidence. They've been looking for him. And finding him alone in an empty bathroom was exactly what they hoped for. Ethan turns to face them, but doesn't back down. Let me guess. Jessica sent you? Derek responds aggressively. Nobody sends me anywhere, freak. But yeah, I heard about your little performance in the cafeteria. Very impressive. Didn't know you had it in you. Brad adds menacingly. Pretty brave when you're talking to girls. Let's see how brave you are now. The 4 boys spread out, blocking the exit. This is it. The moment Ethan has been dreading for 3 years. Cornered, outnumbered, nowhere to run. But something's different about him now. He's not cowering. He's observing. Ethan speaks with strange calm. You know, Derek, this is exactly what I predicted would happen. Derek asks confused. What are you talking about? Ethan continues. In my behavioral analysis of you. I wrote that when confronted with intellectual challenge, you immediately escalate to physical intimidation. You're very predictable. Derek's confusion turns to anger. Behavioral analysis? What kind of sick stuff are you writing about us? Ethan opens his laptop. Would you like to see? This is either the bravest or most foolish thing Ethan has ever done. He's about to show his tormentors exactly how deeply he's studied them. The reaction could go one of 2 ways. The laptop screen shows detailed profiles with photos, dates, behavioral patterns. Ethan begins his presentation. Derek Matthews. Classic narcissistic personality with underlying insecurity complex. Exhibits aggressive behavior when challenged intellectually because he's aware of his cognitive limitations. Uses physical intimidation to compensate for lack of actual leadership skills. Derek grabs for the laptop. Give me that. Ethan pulls it back. Or Brad Wilson. Follows Derek not out of loyalty, but out of fear of being targeted himself. Classic enabler behavior. Probably has unresolved issues with his own father's expectations. Brad responds defensively. What the hell, man? Ethan is playing with fire, but he's also revealing something important. He knows these boys better than they know themselves. And that knowledge is power. Tommy Rodriguez, anger management issues stemming from financial stress at home. Takes out frustration on weaker targets to feel temporarily powerful. And Marcus Webb follows the group because he desperately wants to belong somewhere. The four boys look genuinely unsettled. Derek asks disturbed, "How do you know all this? How do you know about our families?" Ethan responds calmly, "Because I watch. I listen. I remember everything. For 3 years, you've treated me like I'm invisible. But invisible people see everything." The dynamic in this bathroom has completely shifted. The predators are now feeling like prey. They came here to intimidate Ethan, but instead, they're discovering that their victim knows their deepest secrets. Derek tries to regain control. "You're sick, Reed. This is stalker behavior. We should report you to the police." Ethan laughs for the first time. "Report me? For what? Observing public behavior? Taking notes on things people say in public spaces? There's nothing illegal about studying the psychology of bullying." Ethan closes his laptop and stands up straighter. "But you know what is illegal? Assault. Harassment. Creating a hostile environment. Destruction of property. And I have documentation of all of it." Brad challenges him. "You're bluffing." Ethan opens a different folder on his laptop. "Am I?" Derek pushing freshman Marcus Chin into lockers, October 3rd. Brad taking lunch money from David Park, November 15th. Tommy vandalizing Sarah Mueller's car because she rejected his advances, January 8th. The boys' faces show genuine fear now. This is Ethan's nuclear option. 3 years of evidence collection. 3 years of building a case against his tormentors. But why has he never used it before? "I never wanted to use this. I just wanted to be left alone." "But you couldn't do that, could you? You had to keep pushing. You had to keep hurting people. Well, congratulations. You've created a monster." Derek asks desperately, "What do you want?" And there it is. The question that changes everything. For the first time in 3 years, Derek Matthews is asking Ethan Reed what he wants. The power dynamic has completely reversed. "What I want is very simple, Derek. I want you to stop. I want all of you to stop. Stop hurting people. Stop thinking you own this school. Stop believing that being cruel makes you powerful." Tommy asks defiantly, "And if we don't?" Ethan responds with cold certainty. "Then I upload everything. Every photo, every video, every recorded conversation. I send it to your parents, your coaches, your college recruiters, the school board, and the police. I make you famous, Derek. Just not the kind of famous you want to be." There's a long pause as the boys realize their situation. Derek tries one last bluff. "You can't prove half of this stuff." Ethan simply says, "Try me." In this moment, Ethan Reed has achieved something no victim of bullying at Maplewood High has ever achieved. He has made the bullies afraid. But this victory comes with a price. There's no going back to invisible now. For 30 seconds, nobody moves. For athletes who have ruled through intimidation face off against one undersized nerd with a laptop. But those 30 seconds feel like hours, and when they end, everything will be different. Derek tries one last power play. "You think you're so smart, Reed? You think you've won something here? You have no idea what you've started." Ethan responds confidently. "Actually, Derek, I know exactly what I've started. I've started the end of your reign of terror. I've started justice. I've started something you can't stop with your fists or your father's money." Look at him. This isn't the same boy who walked into this bathroom 10 minutes ago. Something fundamental has shifted. The victim has become the prosecutor, and he's about to deliver his closing argument. "You want to know what I've learned in 3 years of studying you? You're not actually strong. None of you are. Strong people don't need to hurt others to feel powerful. Strong people don't travel in packs to intimidate individuals. Strong people don't derive pleasure from others' pain." Brad interrupts angrily. "Shut up, freak." Ethan continues, undeterred. "You're weak, Derek. You're so weak that you have to destroy other people to build yourself up. You're so insecure that you can't let anyone else succeed because it highlights your own failures. You're so afraid of being alone that you surround yourself with people who don't actually like you, they just fear you." Derek's hands clench into fists, but he's not moving forward. Derek wants to hit him. Every fiber of his being is screaming to solve this problem the way he always has, with violence. But Ethan's laptop represents something new. Evidence. Consequences. A future where actions matter. And the beautiful thing is, Derek, you can't touch me now. Because every bruise you give me becomes evidence. Every threat you make gets recorded. Every move you make against me just proves everything I've documented about you. Derek's voice cracks slightly. "What do you want from us?" There it is again. The question that acknowledges the shift in power. Derek Matthews, quarterback and king of Maplewood High, is asking Ethan Reed, the invisible boy, what he wants. I want an apology. From all of you. Public. Sincere. To me and to every person you've ever heard in this school. Tommy protests. You're crazy if you think. Ethan interrupts. I want you to volunteer for community service. Real community service, not the fake stuff you put on college applications. I want you to learn what it feels like to help people instead of hurting them. Marcus asks hopefully. And if we do all this, you'll delete the files? Ethan pauses, considering. No. The boys look shocked. I'll keep the files as insurance. Insurance that you never go back to who you were. Insurance that you remember this conversation every time you think about hurting someone. Insurance that the people of this school can finally feel safe. Derek's anger flares again. That's blackmail. Ethan corrects him. No, Derek. That's justice. Blackmail would be if I demanded money or favors. I'm demanding that you become better people. I'm demanding that you stop being monsters. What Ethan is proposing isn't revenge, it's rehabilitation. He's offering his tormentors a chance to redeem themselves, but only under his terms. It's brilliant psychology. He's giving them a path to salvation while maintaining complete control. Ethan closes his laptop and puts it in his bag. You have until tomorrow morning to decide. Make your apologies during the morning announcements, or watch your lives implode on social media by lunch. Your choice. Ethan walks toward the bathroom door, the four boys parting to let him pass. As Ethan reaches the door, he turns back one last time. The boy who entered this bathroom as a victim is leaving as something else entirely. Oh, and Derek? Next time you want to corner someone in a bathroom, remember that bathrooms have excellent acoustics. Everything we just said? It's all recorded. Ethan taps his phone, showing it's been recording the entire conversation. Derek realizes the full scope of his situation. You son of a, Ethan interrupts with a smile. Language, Derek. You're being recorded, remember? Ethan exits, leaving the four boys in stunned silence. And just like that, Ethan Reed walks out of that bathroom a completely different person than the one who walked in. But transformations this dramatic come with consequences. And those consequences are about to change everything. The next morning at Maplewood High. To most students, it looks like any other Tuesday. But for Ethan Reed, this is the first day of his new life. The question is, what kind of life will it be? Look at him. Same clothes, same backpack, same face. But everything else has changed. He's not hiding anymore. He's not trying to be invisible. For the first time in 3 years, Ethan Reed is walking through these halls like he belongs here. Other students notice the change, whispering and pointing. One student says to another, "Is that the same kid who got soaked yesterday?" The second student responds, "He looks different." Word has spread. In the age of social media, nothing stays secret for long. Half the school knows about the cafeteria incident, and rumors about what happened afterward are flying through group chats like wildfire. The morning announcement system crackles to life. Principal Johnson speaks over the intercom. "Good morning, Maplewood High. We have a special announcement this morning from some of our student leaders." Ethan stops in the hallway, other students pause to listen. This is it. The moment of truth. Either Derek and his crew have decided to take Ethan's deal, or they've chosen war. Either way, nothing will ever be the same. Derek's voice comes over the intercom, clearly strained. "This is Derek Matthews. I want to apologize to the student body for my behavior over the past few years. I've hurt people, and that was wrong. I'm sorry." Students look shocked, phones come out to record this unprecedented moment. Jessica's voice follows over the intercom, clearly reluctant. "This is Jessica Hartwell. I also want to apologize for being cruel to people who didn't deserve it. I'm going to try to be better." Ethan listens with a small smile, but his eyes are watchful, calculating. They did it. They actually did it. Derek Matthews and Jessica Hartwell just publicly apologized. But this isn't victory, this is just the beginning. Because power abhors a vacuum, and when the old rulers fall, someone has to take their place. Students look at Ethan with new interest, some with respect, others with fear. Marcus Webb approaches Ethan nervously. "Hey, Ethan? Can we talk?" Ethan responds. "Sure, Marcus. What's on your mind?" Marcus continues gratefully. "I just wanted to say thank you. For what you did. I've been scared of Derek for 2 years, and now I don't have to be anymore." More students gather around, listening to this conversation. And here it comes. The phenomenon that Ethan didn't anticipate. The victims of Derek's regime see him as their liberator. The oppressed see him as their champion. Ethan Reed, who just wanted to be left alone, is about to discover the burden of leadership. Sarah Mueller approaches. Ethan, is it true? Do you really have evidence on all of them? Ethan responds carefully. I have evidence on everyone who has hurt innocent people in this school. But I only use it when I have to. David Park asks. So you're like protecting us now? This is the moment Ethan realizes what he's created. He didn't just neutralize his bullies, he's become a power in his own right. And with great power comes great responsibility and great danger. Ethan looks around at all the faces looking to him for leadership, protection, guidance. I'm not protecting anyone. I'm just making sure that what happened to me doesn't happen to others. Everyone deserves to feel safe at school. Jennifer Adams voices her concern. But what if they come back? What if they find ways to hurt us that you can't prove? Ethan realizes the scope of what he's taken on. Then we'll deal with it. Together. No one has to face this alone anymore. Together. That word changes everything. Ethan has just gone from being a lone wolf to the leader of a pack. But leading the oppressed against the oppressors is dangerous work. And somewhere in this school, new enemies are already forming. A group of older students watch Ethan's growing crowd with suspicion and anger. One unknown student says to another, "Look at him. Thinks he runs the school now." The second unknown student responds, "Someone needs to teach him that there are consequences to overthrowing the natural order. Because that's the thing about power structures, they don't disappear when you defeat them. They adapt. They evolve. They find new ways to reassert control." And Ethan Reed is about to discover that defeating Derek Matthews was just the first battle in a much larger war. Ethan's phone buzzes with a text message. The screen shows a message from an unknown number. "Impressive work today. We need to talk." The Shadow Council. Ethan's confident expression changes to concern and confusion. He says to himself, "The Shadow Council? What the hell is the Shadow Council?" And just like that, Ethan Reed's victory becomes his next challenge. He thought Derek and Jessica were his biggest problems. He thought high school bullying was the extent of the corruption at Maplewood High. But he's about to discover that some secrets run much deeper than teenage cruelty. Ethan walks away, surrounded by his new allies, while mysterious figures watch from the shadows. Ethan Reed came to school today as a victim. He's leaving as a leader. But leadership in high school is a dangerous game, and the rules are about to change in ways he never imagined. The silent have found their voice. The weak have discovered their strength. But the real test is just beginning. Because when you challenge the established order challenges back. Next time on The Silent Roar, who is the Shadow Council? What do they want with Ethan? And how far will they go to maintain their control over Maplewood High? The revolution has begun. But revolutions are never as simple as they seem. Join us next time for Episode 2, The Puppet Masters. Subscribe now to see what happens when the hunter becomes the hunted.